Hey YouTube, how's it going? My name's Becca and I'm an American College of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer, and I'm also an International Sports Sciences Association certified group fitness instructor, as well as a nutrition student at Arizona State University online. And today I kind of wanted to share a little bit of information to you about branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs for short. There's a lot of information out there about them simply due to the rise of the health and fitness industry on social media and out in the regular world in general. And sometimes it can be hard to determine if they're really worth spending your money on. So I thought it would be good today to kind of go over a few things I've noticed about both personal and through some studies, and also really how to pick out a good one. So let's dive right in. So the first thing we want to talk about is, well, what are branched chain amino acids? So there are 9 essential amino acids that we need. That means that we do not make them in our bodies. Our muscles need them otherwise to build up our proteins. And of those 9, 3 of them make up our branched chain amino acids. And those 3 are leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And so those are really, really important. They just kind of help with our building blocks of protein, which, protein helps with muscle. And now there's tons of reported benefits of BCAAs. Reduced muscle fatigue, reduced soreness, quicker muscle protein synthesis, which means faster muscle building. And I've even heard some people telling me that they sleep better taking them. I personally can't say I've experienced that, but hey, more power to them if they're feeling it, right? So there's a couple studies I noted that I thought were pretty interesting. And the first one was done in 2016 by Ruel et al. And they studied the effects of leucine-rich amino supplements on older untrained adults. And that untrained part is kind of important. We'll jump into that in a second. The researchers found that the supplement group saw a reduction in loss of strength due to muscle fatigue. And so what that means is they were able to work out at a higher intensity for longer during the workout, even though their muscles were tired. And what we'll see is this is because the branched chain amino acids suppressed that fatigue. So it's not that the fatigue wasn't there, it's that the muscles were able to overcome it so that they could continue training. And to jump back, the reason why I said the untrained part was important is for one kind of major reason. Some people will say it's important to note that when you use an untrained individual, some of the results you could notice would be what we call newbie gains, right? So in someone who's untrained, when they start training, the body wants to build that muscle. It wants to be healthy. So it's going to jump into all of that muscle growth and everything like that. And eventually that will plateau off. The worry being you want to make sure that that muscle growth and all those benefits you're seeing are due to the branched chain amino acids, which is what we're studying, and not due to them just being an untrained individual. It doesn't so much apply to this study because this study was simply looking at fatigue, but there are studies out there that would apply to where they're simply looking at muscle growth. So that's something to keep in mind if you ever read a study about it. Just note whether or not they're trained or untrained individuals. Another study that was interesting was actually done on trained individuals. It was studied in 2016 by Waldron et al. And they studied the effects of BCAA supplements on recovery time after resistance training. And they used 16 trained individuals. They had a 3-year minimum of resistance training experience, which is important to know. What they actually found was these individuals were randomly placed into groups, and the group that had the supplements, the BCAA supplement, saw less time that they had to deal with soreness, so they had decreased soreness, and they also had quicker recovery rates. So let's say they worked out on Monday and they were still sore until Thursday. Well, the group with the BCAAs actually found that if they worked out on Monday, they were ready to work out again on Wednesday. And personally, I can say I've experienced that. I have found that when I started taking BCAAs probably 2 years ago, I noticed that my recovery time was much quicker. So personally, my body stays sore anywhere from 3 to 4 days after a workout, which is crazy to me. I've not met many people like that. When I started finding and taking good quality branched chain amino acid supplements, I found that recovery time was really almost cut in half. So now, usually 1 to 2 days And usually I'll take that supplement, I'll take it during or after my workout. It's rare I'll take my BCAAs before, mainly because I just don't want it to sit in my stomach while I'm moving. I'm one of those, I'll wait. But that's personally kind of what I've noticed and experienced on my own is, that decreased soreness time and increased rate of recovery. One of the other things I had mentioned is that some people find an increased muscle growth. I can't say personally I've had that experience, but I've met people that have, and I am one out of tons of people. Everyone will react differently to everything, and that's very important to keep in mind, that what happens for me and what happens for somebody else may not be necessarily what happens for you. So that's always good to bear in mind. So then something else I kind of want to focus on too is how to choose a good supplement. There's so many out there, and just about every influencer these days and several brands are all coming out with their own version of these BCAA supplements, and you'll find flavors like watermelon and blue raspberry, and they're all completely delicious. But if you're going to spend the money on them, you want to make sure they're actually doing what they say they're going to do. So there's a couple things to keep in mind when you're at the store looking for them. The first one would be to look at the ratio of all of the amino acids. So generally a good ratio to look for would be a 2-to-1-to-1 of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. You want a higher amount of leucine, and here's the reason why. Leucine is kind of the driving factor behind muscle protein synthesis when it comes to the 3 branched chain amino acids. They will all assist in the protein synthesis, but leucine will really kind of help with that. And that's pretty significant because we know that muscle protein synthesis is what grows our muscles. If we have protein synthesis happening faster than we have muscle atrophy, that's how we're going to build that size and that strength. So that's kind of important right there. And the next thing we want to focus on too is the grams, like the amount of grams that we are getting of actual aminos in our supplement. So every bottle will come with a serving size. Usually that serving size is maybe 1 or 2 scoops. And next to that serving size, they'll tell you how many grams or how many milligrams that is. That's not necessarily the amount of aminos that you're getting. So let's say that supplement has a serving size of 1 scoop, and in that 1 scoop there's 7.5 grams. But then let's say that your leucine grams is 2.5, your isoleucine grams are 1.25, and then your valine grams are 1.25. So 2.5, 1.25, and 1.25. That adds you up to 5 grams of aminos in that 7.5 gram serving size. So that's 2.5 extra grams of something else that's in that supplement. It could be flavoring, it could be something to kind of keep it together. You don't know, but what we want to look for is 5 to 7 grams of aminos alone. So you want to add that up. You don't want to look at what the actual serving size is. That 5 to 7 grams is really where we start to see the benefits. Any less than that, you're just kind of getting good tasting water, which is not a bad thing if it helps you drink your water. And the last thing we want to kind of look at is kind of hard to do when you're in the store. You can't just bust open the container and kind of use it right there, but it's beneficial if you already have a couple supplements at home. It's kind of fun to look at the science behind it. So something a lot of people don't know actually is that in their chemical state, branched chain amino acids are actually hydrophobic. And what that means is hydro meaning water and phobic meaning fear is water fearing. So what we see is branched chain amino acids essentially repel water. They don't mix well with it. So when you add it in, if you mix it all up or shake it up or however, and they kind of clump up, a lot of people sometimes will look at that and think, well, that's kind of gross, or I don't like the texture, that's weird. That's actually a good thing. You want that because that means that that's actually a true branched chain amino acid. They're clumping up to push that water away, to get away from it. If you have a supplement and you mix it up and it becomes a pure, mixed, even solution and completely dissolves, that might be a little worrisome because that might not necessarily all be branched chain amino acids. It might be a lot of added stuff. And if you're spending, $40, $50 per bottle, you want to make sure you're really getting what you're paying for. So that's something that maybe a lot of people didn't know, and that'd be kind of a fun little test to do in your kitchen if you have several different, branched chain amino acids lying around. I know I do, and I have every supplement lying around because I forget about them all. But anyway, that's kind of everything I wanted to touch on today. I didn't really want to tell you guys whether you should or shouldn't because that's kind of a personal choice. It's whether you notice the benefits or not, what I really wanted to do is inform you guys to go out and form your own opinions of them, to maybe try a few or see if you have a friend you can bum some off of, to see if those branched chain amino acids really do help you in the gym. What we want to remember is that there's no magical pill, no magical powder. Nothing is going to do the work for you unless you're putting in the effort, which is, eating and having a good nutritious diet, putting the effort in the gym, however you want to get your exercise. It doesn't even have to be the gym. It can be outside biking or running, horseback riding, any sort of sport. Unless you're doing that and actively putting in the work, you're not going to see these benefits. Nothing's going to change. You have to put the work in, and what these will do is aid you. They will make it easier. They will make the journey much easier. So I hope this answered any questions you guys might have, and thanks for watching. Bye.